how do we figure out where something is on the unit circle. So remember from yesterday that the unit circle is any circle with a radius 1. As you can see here, if I'm on the x-axis, it's just 1, 0, right? It's my coordinate on the x-axis. Because I'm still on the x-axis, I haven't gone above or below, and I've gone out 1 unit. And we just call it a unit because we don't know what it is. It could be centimeters, millimeters, and really it doesn't matter. We're just interested in the number. But I'm on the x-axis, so it's 1, 0. Right? Remember in these systems, that's x, that's y. Here, I'm on the y-axis. I haven't gone anywhere on the x, so this is 0, 1. Combine, that's x, that's y. And if we go in the opposite direction, right, if I go in the negative direction, that was a positive direction, this will be negative 1, y. Again, that's x, that's y. And if we go in the negative direction on y, I get to the opposite of that one, which was 0, 1. And that's really all we need to know about this unit circle at the moment. So what we're interested in now is we need to start figuring out if I'm not on the axis, if I was to just pick an arbitrary point and say like right here, what's the coordinates on that? Right? We call this P for point. If this is where my arm went, where is it? I don't know where it is. I need to figure out how to find where it went. So we need to start thinking about coordinates. Well, it just works out that if I have this point P, looks like an infinity sign, let's make it a circle. I create a triangle, because wherever I wound up on the x-axis to get to there, I had to go some distance, right? So there's x. So if this is 0.75, I went 0.75 out on x to get to P. And once I'm there, I then have to go up some direction. Let's give these arrows so we know which direction we're headed, right? I went that way on y, I'm going this way on x. Sorry, I flipped that. I went this way on x, I went this way on y. So that's how I got to P. So whatever this value of x is, whatever that value of y is, will end up giving me my coordinate. So I'm just going to end up being whatever x comma y is. So how do we figure this out? Well, that's where our nice old friend Pythagoras comes back in again. So to figure out via Pythagoras what it would be, we know, let's clear this, we're going to say, right, here's my point that I still need, and this time I'll do a dotted line so we kind of know a little bit what's going on. That's y, that's x. And we know from Pythagoras it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So here, if I'm looking at this, if this is my point, and I know that that arm is radius, what I can do, let's replace x for a, right? Let's call that x squared. Put y in for b, so that becomes y squared. And instead of c, it's going to wind up being my radius. So this is what we can now use to calculate where that point is. Because if we know x and we can figure out y, that's our coordinate. And we're often given what the radius is for the unit, right? We'll know if it's on 1, 1 or 1, 0 or whatever the case is. So as we're talking about here, you can do a couple different examples. So let's say on this one, instead of being 1, 0, let's say it had a radius equal to 6. Okay, so it would be 6, 0, 0, 6, negative 6, 0, and 0, negative 6. So if you now calculate that, it'll be x squared plus y squared equal to r squared. We don't know x and y yet. They're not telling us that. They're only telling us the radius. So all we know is that x squared plus y squared equals 6 squared. I'm going to run out of room. But x squared plus y squared, I can't do those because I don't know what value it is. But 6 squared I know is 36. Okay? So this is the first step we need. Using Pythagoras, to figure out what this would be, right? Based on what the radius is. So the next step is let's start figuring out what x and y's are. So, going on, we need to understand about the triangle. So when we're looking at the triangles, as I mentioned, if I pick a point here, it looks like I've roughly picked pi over 4, I'm going to make an imaginary triangle. It just happens to be a right triangle, right? We use Pythagoras. And that there is x, and that's y. So if I can figure out what these are, I can figure out what the coordinates are for p, because it's just x, comma, y. So I can start piecing this together if I can figure out what this angle is.